Okay, now we're ready to start the tutorial for making this album. I'll have links in the description to my blog, and there you'll be able to find still pictures of the cut list and materials list and some other helpful pictures for making this album. You should watch the whole tutorial through once before you start making the album, because I do make some mistakes, and it's always a good idea to know what's going to be happening next when you're working. Pause the video, fast forward, rewind, whatever you need to do to get all the information you need to create this album. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I did do this tutorial different than my previous tutorials. You're going to start right in making the pages first thing. Usually I rearrange my own process and have you create the cover first. But I'm not going to this time, because with Blue Fern Studios you only get 20 papers in a pack, and usually I work with 24 papers. So there were some specific cuts in order to get some of the fussy cutting worked out. And in the end I used scraps for areas like this. I want you to cut out the other papers before you get to the scraps. And that's the way I always make my albums. I always do the pages first, and then I create the cover to fit what I've done for pages. I think that's all I wanted to say. So, on to the tutorial. Okay, now we're going to start working with the cardstock, the solid color cardstock. The cut list will be on my blog. It will tell you what sizes to cut your paper, and when you're cutting your paper, always start with the large size first. So cut out the 9x7 pieces and then work your way down to the smaller pieces. And it will also have on it scoring instructions. So I'll tell you to cut your piece 5 by 6.5 and score, for example, this one, 1/2 inch in on the 6.5 inch side. So that's what that means. Okay, for the inside front cover, I have a waterfall. So you'll need one 9x7 inch piece and 6 pieces that are cut 5 inches by 6.5 inches, scored 1/2 inch in on the 6.5 inch side. And we're not going to do anything with that until we put the pattern paper on. And page 1 is simply one 9x7 inch piece and one 4.5 by 4.5 inch piece. Page 2 is one 9x7 inch piece, one 5 by 10 inch piece that has been scored 1/2 inch on both 5 inch sides, and two 4.5 by 6.5 inch pieces, and one piece that is 3.5 by 4. And we're going to make a pocket. And the one problem with using white cardstock is it will be more difficult for you to see because I'm using white glue. But you put glue on both of the scored sides, flaps, and then along the bottom of the inside. And then we fold in both sides like this and place it on the 9x7 inch piece so that the sides and the bottom line up. Just like that. So here we have a pocket, and our 2 photo mats go inside, and this piece will go on top here, but we're done for now until we get to the pattern papers. For page 3, You'll need a 9 by 7 inch piece, 2 4.5 by 4.5 inch pieces, 1 6 by 3.5 inch piece, 1 5 1/4 by 3 inch piece that has been scored a 1/2 inch in on both 3 inch sides, 1 5 by 7 inch piece scored at 4 1/4 and 4.5. So it folds like this. We're going to take that piece and glue it on here. So put glue on this flap and glue the 9 by 7 inch piece to it all the way up to the first score line. Pressing down so that it will look like this. Then open that up, and on the inside of this piece we're going to glue this down as a pocket. So just like the first pocket, here, here, and here. So there's a pocket on the inside of this flap. That's where this tag will go. And these two will go here. But we're all done until we get the pattern papers on. For page 4, you need 1 9 by 7 inch piece, 1 5 1/2 by 7.5 inch piece, and 1 piece cut 2 inches by 1 inch and scored down the middle at 1 inch. So it looks like that. Now we're going to add magnets to this. 4 small magnets. I'm going to put some glossy accents just below the fold, about a little more than about 1/8 of an inch below. 2 of them. I'm going to put magnets on those spots on the glue. And they like to attract to each other, so I'll have to hold on to it. Just like that. Now I'm going to put some glue on this down here. And put that in the center, over the top, right down to the magnets. And we'll leave that up, not pull it down yet. We'll wait. Then I want a piece of scrap paper. And I'm going to turn this right upside down and put the scrap paper over the place where the magnets are, and let the magnets find each other. And I have a line drawn on the 9 by 7 inch piece, 5/8 inch down from the top, and that's where I want the edge of my paper to land, this paper edge to go about there. So I'm going to put glue on the magnets again. And I'm going to line up that line and make this piece in the center and straight on the sides. And just now that scrap piece of paper we put in there, I'm going to put my 2 fingers on it so that I can take off this. And then our magnets are in the right place. And make it so your magnets don't touch, and you can put this away till later. Page 5, 1 9 by 7 inch piece, 2 4.5 by 4 inch pieces, 1 7 by 3 inch piece that has been scored a 1/2 inch on both 3 inch sides, 1 7 3/4 by 7 inch piece scored at 6 inches and then again at 6 1/4 inches, so that it looks like that when it's folded. And we're going to put this on here as a pocket. So this is the inside. If this were opening like this, this will be the pocket inside. Good pocket. Then I'm going to take my 9 by 7 inch piece and again put glue here and glue this piece on up to the fold line. So that it looks like that. And I forgot, we also need this 4.5 by 6.5 inch piece that will go inside the pocket, and then these will be here like this, and that's all we need to do for now. For page 6, we need 1 9 by 7 inch piece, 1 piece that is 12 by 6.5, and it's scored at 2.5, then 2 5/8, then 7 1/4, then 7 3/8. So this will fold like this with 1/8 inch gussets on each side. It will be like this. And then we're going to add a pocket, which is 7 and 1 1/2 inches. So it's 7 inches and 1 1/2 inches. And because this was actually a scrap piece of paper, in order to make it fit here at 6.5, I only have 1/4 inch folds on this one, but it will still work the same way. So a little pocket up there. So this can be put aside, and the inside back cover have 1 9 by 7 inch piece and 1 7 by 5 inch piece, and that's it for now. What I did for the flowers is I used this Tattered Blossoms die from Heartfelt Creations, but I only used this one, only that flower, which measures, well, the die measures 2 inches, so only that one, and I cut to make these flowers here. And I used Martha Stewart's Hydrangea Punch, which makes about a 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch flower. And this EK Success Punch to make small flowers and the flower centers. And I got really interesting flowers like this one with really neat patterns by punching and cutting from strange places like here. And here. See? And even on this side, see the pretty colors? I cut right into the patterned places. I didn't do much fussy cutting with the scraps. I mostly used the flowers, so like you could cut one here, which would be a really pretty flower. So I would turn it upside down and look and get something like this. And like this. Pretty. And then I use the flower shaping mat and the tools, and I use the one with the big ball. And I like this side up, so I turn it over onto the mat. This is very thick foam, and I press the ball into the petal so it curls up. Press it right into the foam and the paper curls up around the ball. I did it on the back side of each petal. Then turn it around and do it in the center on the front. So you get a flower like that. And some flowers have one and some flowers have two. And I'll have a picture of the flowers I made and I used so that you can see what I did. Just use it as a guide. You can do something, you can do more or less as you choose. But I'll have the picture for you to use as a guide. And then the flower center, so say I like to use, I didn't always, but I like to have a different color. So I punched a center and did the same thing, only all I did was on the front side. Push down, and if you want it to curl more, just use a smaller ball. Just like that. And then I would glue them together or not, like if I wanted just one. And I did that. Glue that on. And just glue them together. Pretty. And for the flower centers, for some flowers, I used 4mm white flat back pearls, and I used 7mm white flat back pearls for these. And for the silk flowers, 9mm flat back pearls. And some flowers I used some of the bitty pieces, some little stars inside. To put the flower centers on, I use glossy accents because the pearls are a non-porous item and glossy accents holds those on good. And I also find tweezers help a lot. You can either put it on the pearl or on the flower and then put the pearl on top. Because the flower center dips in, because we shaped it, you have to push your pearl in to make sure the glue gets stuck. We're doing the fabric flowers. taking the stems off and I'm taking the centers right out. So we'll just pull the center right out, and then you want to carefully, because you really want to keep these stamens, so pull on the wire. See the stamens stay there like that. And we don't want that. And save this for someday. You might want this color flower for a different flower. And I'm using, some of them have the stars in the middle, inside the book. But some of them have these big 9mm flat back pearls. And all I do is take some glossy accents, and this one, like, I want to spread out these stamens a little. But put your glossy accents in the center, put a pretty good glob, and then just put this right in over the top. Like that. Of course the stamens aren't letting me lay it flat. So 5 of them want the flat back pearls, and 1 will take a star in the center. Okay, now we're going to start putting pattern paper on. And because Blue Fern Studios paper packs only have 20 papers in them versus my usual 24 papers on a lot of other paper packs when I make an album. So that's why this album is much simpler and you can get fewer photos in it, because I tried to, I had to consider how much paper I had to use. I took some pictures of my initial cuts, meaning the first cut I took of a piece of paper. So here's the inside front cover, and I was figuring out what paper to put on there, so I took a picture of how I cut this piece out, because some of these images I wanted to save to use in the book. So you had to cut the paper a certain way sometimes to make sure you got those pictures to fussy cut out, or whatever you'll see we'll do in the rest of the album. Now the other thing to do, to keep in mind, is I want to cover a 9 by 7 inch space, so I want this to be a 1/8 inch border all the way around, so I cut every piece 1/4 inch smaller. So I have a 9 by 7 inch piece here. This is 8 3/4 by 6 3/4. On that still shot I have for you on how to cut the pages, cut out all your pages before you glue them on, all your pieces. And I'll be showing you what pieces I put where, but you start with the big piece and work your way down to the smaller pieces. So we can go ahead and glue this piece right onto here. And then we're going to take these pieces, which are the waterfall pieces, and cover each one. The first piece will be covered with this, and the back side with this. So for the next pieces, you can cut your papers like this. So you'll have 3 with the orange paper, See how the pattern goes up and down for this one, double side? It goes sideways for this one. But by the time you've put on a 4x6 photo, there'll only be a 1/4 inch border and you'll hardly notice that it goes sideways. So we have 3 pieces covered with that, and then this pink, which comes from this paper. Go ahead and put those on. Okay, now we'll get them in order. This is the first, second, pink one, an orange one, a pink one, and finish off with an orange one. So this is the top 2. You take the top 2 and fold this down over the top of the other one. Like this. So you put glue here. And I just realized, made a mistake as usual. I want to put a ribbon 30 inches long, cut in half. And we need to put it in the center here. So put it on before you glue on this piece. But that'll work. And back to our regularly scheduled program. Now I want to put glue right here, and about a 1/2 inch away from the edge of the pattern paper, I'm going to put this down in the center. Even here and here. Then I'll take the next one and I'll just glue it on like this, tucking this under that fold a little bit. Glue here. And I'm going to make sure it's straight. And go ahead and press down. And keep going. Now let's put on the other ribbon. We can use this as a guide. I'm just going to put some glue on this edge here and slip this right under at the point where this ribbon meets this one. So let's make a journaling spot. We have this piece cut, and this piece says A Fairy Good Life, and this little cutie. I'd like it to go like this. We can see it peeking out the side. And so I'm going to put this will be a tuck spot. You can also get a picture in there too, down behind, so you could take this out and see the picture. So I'm just going to put glue on this at the bottom, move it up away from here about a little less than 1/4 inch. And how about putting this cutie like that? And if I glue her down, glue here, it'll sort of hold this from tipping that way. And now we're going to wait. I'll come back. I'm going to put, well, I guess I can put it on now. I have more embellishments to go on, but we haven't colored the beauty board yet, so I can't put that on until we color it. I have a piece of lace. I want to go right over the top here. I see I have to trim up, straighten this up just a little. This is going to be purely decorative, this first piece. If you want to put a picture there, of course, don't put the lace on. Or put the picture right over the lace, but I'm going to put more on that. But let's put the lace on. I have my flowers made up. We're going to put the vintage fairy there and the beauty board once we get it colored, and a couple of bitty stars. So let's put this aside until we get that part done. These are the pieces I'm using for the page 1. So you know you needed to cut this out, and one of the reasons to cut everything before you start gluing it on is because we also need this piece, so you'll have to make sure you have it. And I want to pop her up on chipboard, so you need a piece of scrap chipboard. And I just cut it funky like that so that I can not see it on this side. And I'll just glue her to it. And then I'm going to put her directly over the spot here. And you can glue this on here. This will go on this piece, but I don't want to put it on yet because we have work to do to the chipboard. And this will go in this corner. Then I just thought I'd have that sticking like that. And this behind, and then we'll be putting flowers here, and this will go here. So we can put all those things aside till a little bit later. On page 2, I'm using these pieces. So when you're cutting out your pieces and you cut this one, you don't have to cut it 8 3/4 by 6 3/4 because it's going down in the pocket and you can never get that size all the way down in anyway. So as long as you make sure you have it going down, you know, at least this far or this far, this is how far mine is, it's in there good. So that will go there, this will go here. For the photo mats, I'm using the green for one. Comes from this page. This one. And I'm going to put little tabs at the top like we did when we put the magnets on. I'm going to put them at the top here. So just cut off, eyeball an inch. So this is a 2-inch scored at 1 inch. And I'm going to put it right in the middle. And I'm going to push it up a little, about 1/8 of an inch up. So when it folds, it sticks up above about 1/8 of an inch. And then just put this on. And put the back on. And the next, same thing. Just going to cut off about 1 inch. These pieces. This 3.5 by 4 inch piece. And this is a special one designed to hold our fairy wand like this. But first, so its cut is, I cut it at 2 inches by 4 1/4. I just picked this paper because it sort of matches. Same colors. And then I scored it at 5/8 in, and again at 3/4. Then again at 1 1/8, and again at 1 1/4, so that it will make a slot like that once it's glued on. This will fit inside. But first I want to put on some of this trim right across the top. The trim I cut is about 9 1/2. I want the pretty stitching on top, so I'm just gonna and I'm actually going to go down the sides a little. Because we will be gluing this right over the top. And we need to glue this right over the top. But the beauty board is so smooth, we don't have to worry about it catching and pulling up every time we pull this out. I think it'll be just fine. So I'm going to lay this down. I don't want the point up there. I don't want this hanging off wrong, but I like it to be an attractive tilt. Maybe I'll move it over a little more. So you do the same. think I'm going to cut this so that it's about 1/8 inch away from the score. So make sure it has something to grab onto. Then I'm going to put glue on these. Kind of a lot. Especially at the top, because we want it to go right through all those layers. I'm not going to trust that. Alright, right here, I'm going to tip this up and put glue. Now we'll try it. Okay, that seems to be good. Good. Now I just want to put this over the top. So let's put some glue under there. And under here. And find another scrap piece of chipboard. I'm going to put it down in this corner. Tricky, tricky. So that's what we're going to do for now until we get our chipboard painted up. Oh, wait. Page 3. Go ahead and put this on here. And we can put this on here. First, piece of ribbon 20 inches long. Cut in half. We're going to put it here on in the middle. Put on this lace so it hangs off. This piece will go here. So you can cut this off. I want the ribbons to tie. So I want to put this ribbon right here. I also want to be able to get a picture behind this piece, and I want to make a tuck spot, so I only want to put glue from here, here, and here, and maybe a little here to keep our piece from going all the way down. So I'm going to put my finger right here. This is another piece that doesn't have to go all the way down. See? And this is just going to be blank on this side for journaling. Put this over the top. Like that. I don't want to tie it because the glue's still a little wet. So I'm going to put all these pieces aside and come back to them. Page 4 with the magnets. I'm putting these on here. And this piece over the top. And let's have this be a cute little tuck spot back here. And that's it for this for right now. Page 5 has been covered like this with a piece of lace over the top. Just go ahead and glue it right on the top. And don't forget your ribbons. And leave a space here like we did before. Here's the pocket, and here again, just like we did before. Cover those, and that's what we're going to use for that, and we'll come back and finish up. Page 5, I'm going to cover with this. And then we have our little booklet. So now I'm going to put this on the bottom here, but I want to put this on top and make it so this will go in, but it's going to bump into this. So I'm going to do this. We need to put our ribbon on, 30-inch ribbon. Okay, yep, I totally forgot I wanted to leave a pocket and glued this on wrong, so I quick save and now we'll glue it on right. Just put glue here, like that, so it will still open at the top. And that is it for now. Inside back cover, cover like this and like this, and then fussy cut out this and then her again because I popped her up on chipboard. And then we're going to glue this one down about a ½ inch away from here. And let's put the straight edge over here. Then we'll just put her here. And a little down here. So I put her lower, so the bottom leaves are almost down to the bottom. And that's so that this can go in here. And now we're going to wait till I get the beauty board colored. I'm waiting for, I ordered some more. Renee has some really cute diaper pin beauty board pieces, and I want to do them all at the same time, so I'm waiting for them to come in the mail. So this page is done for now. Now the Fairy Kisses beautiful board piece comes with 7 stars, and I've put the stars on a clear piece of thread. I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to do 2 pieces of thread. so that it will be on the picture like this. It'll look like she's blowing star kisses. So it's just a clear thread. You can get transparent nylon thread. I took a piece of it. I don't know if you can see. And this is to keep it from sticking to the piece of cardstock. And the cardstock is so that it can be moved after it's glued so I can continue working. And I just taped the string across the center. The wax paper is under the string. So then I'm going to take my stars and slide them under the string in a way that I like, spacing wise. And then I'm going to take the glossy accents and put it on top of the thread, on top of the star, so that the glue will hold the stars. And I'm going to try to flatten a little because I don't want a bead of glue. I just want enough glue to hold the thread, the stars to the thread. So I don't want to take the glue off. I just don't want it to be a bump. And so now you can put that aside to dry. I've got a paper plate for mixing, some different sized paintbrushes. This is a stiff, wide one, and a long, kind of thin one, and a small one. Some water in a cup. Folk Art Enamels Wicker White. Apple Barrel. This is very old. Apple Barrel Victorian Green. Apple Barrel Award Blue. Folk Art Enamels School Bus Yellow. And Americana Baby Pink. See, there's still a little beauty board in there. You can just poke it out. This one has still got, just poke it out, just falls right out. So you can see all your details. Check things. Here's a little piece. I ended up mixing all the colors with a substantial amount of white so that they're very pale compared to where I started. So a light pink, a light blue, a light yellow, and the green I didn't mix. It came straight from the bottle. And now I'm just going to start painting what I feel like I want to see. For cutting the beautiful board, it's originally like this. All you need is a sharp blade of some kind, a X-Acto knife, or just a razor blade in this case. Just cut straight down to separate them. And for the wand, you want to do both sides. Of course, you don't want to lay it, you want to prop it up to dry. These all look good. I'm going to use 3D gloss gel to apply diamond glitter glass from Renee Bouquet's chunky glitter glass. But I'm going to take some of this out and put it on my craft mat and just work on small pieces at a time. So we'll start with the stars. I put the first set of stars on here as well, just taped the string on. I just thought because the strings will get in the way, it might be easier to work with if it was down like this. So I'm just going to pat on the 3D gloss gel so that the stars are coated like glue. And then I'm going to sprinkle diamond glitter glass on. So now they're sparkly, and we can let that dry. And we'll do this because we want one side to dry before we try to do the second side. And don't put any glitter down here because that will be sliding in and out and we don't want it to be rubbing off. So I'm just going to So here's the piece you need to print out from my blog. I have it there for you to print out. I use cardstock, smooth cardstock. It's stamping weight cardstock. I get it from Gina K Designs. And I usually use the best setting for when I'm printing something like this. So then when you get this printed out, then just cut along the edges. And here on this Once Upon a Time, very faintly you can see a gray V cut into this edge, and you can cut that out too. Okay, page 1. Let's get this tricky business worked out. Let's put, before we glue this on, let's take our stars . Stars, stars. And we want it to go like this, the small ones on the top. Well, it might be easier to, I'm going to take some washi tape, just a little piece, so I can hold this string. I'm going to put it way down here. I guess it doesn't matter where you put it, but and I don't want it to be tight, I want it to be a little loose, so maybe it will curve a little bit. And that will also make it easy to move out of the way if something in the picture you want to see better. So another piece of tape. I guess I just want the tape out of the way of the glue. So there. And then we'll do the other ones. And that looks good. It's much looser to get that. And I've actually pulled the string, the stars here, and I've actually pulled the string up like that. So now it's going across the top here, so it's draping better. So the string starts there and comes down and goes up to get that look. So you'll have to play to see what looks good for you. And I think that looks cute. Oh, I lost a star. Well, that doesn't work so good. Okay, so you get the idea. If you're making this for yourself and you already put your picture there, you can of course glue your stars right to the picture. But what I'm going to do after this is cut my strings a little. And I'm just going to glue it on and catch the strings in the glue. And I'm going to put my stars back on. And I'm actually going to use a piece of very small paper to do it. I'm going to put the little tiny square of paper that will fit behind the star under the clear thread, and I'm going to put a piece of wax paper under both of them. So it doesn't stick. Put my tiny piece of paper under the thread and a piece of bit of glue on the paper on the thread. And that will actually hold it much better. And I'm going to move. I'm going to put the second star on the lower string, the same way. So that the thread is caught between that little piece of paper and the star. And we'll let that dry for a bit. And this is going to go right in the corner. I'm going to just put glue This says, if I had a star for every time you brightened my day, I would be holding a galaxy in my hand. Alright, we're going to put this tag so it will sit like this. So we don't want to put glue right there, so let's put glue like that, and a couple flowers. How about a ribbon, a tied piece of ribbon in a bow? put a flower center in this one. And of course we don't want the fairy to stick to the picture, so you only want to put glue here and over here. So page 1 is done. And page 2, let's take some glue on the back side of your wand and put it like that, and then we're going to find the center of this 18-inch ribbon and put it in that glue. Kind of push it up because of the way this wand is shaped right here. It'll slide down, and we'd like to have it, I'd like to have it higher up. Just going to move this out of the way for a minute and let that dry. And then we'll go to one of the photo mats where we've used this, and I'm going to put glue right here. Run my thumb, make a crease at the top of the photo mat. Now we'll just squish this down. We're trying to keep it from popping up, so you'll have to hold it for a little bit until the glue sets. There. And I'm going to put this flower with a safety pin center. It won't go all the way down to the center. We'll glue up there like that. But the flower covers up the whole piece here, so we don't have to cut that. But I will slide a piece of wax paper under it so that the glue doesn't end up gluing it onto the photo mat. Now I'm just going to put the safety pin on. I'm just going to put some glue here. And over here we're going to do the same. Now you can see a lot of this tab under there, so I'm going to cut some of that off. I'm going to actually do a little rounding. I can already tell I'm going to get glue on the wax paper. But that's okay, it won't stick to the wax paper. So we'll let that set up a bit. And let's go back to our wand, which is still wet, but I'm going to tie this up anyway. I'm not going to tie it tight because I don't want it to pull down. And because I don't want it to come untied, I'm going to put some glue up here on the ribbon so that when you pull it like that, it's caught. And tie a bow. And I'm going to even put more glue in around this knot. And I'm going to put some glue here to hold this part of this ribbon up there, because I'm going to put this flower here, so that way it'll be attached to the beauty board there. And I'm going to take this little butterfly and do that so the back side of the ribbon, the wand is pretty. going to seal the ends. Voila. Still a little wet, so I'm going to leave these here. I moved it because it was sticking, so I just moved it so that the wet part is over here and stuck more of that wax paper up underneath. May you touch fireflies and stars, dance with the fairies, and talk to the man in the moon. Yay, our wand works. Looks pretty. Don't play with it till the glue is dry. Page 2. When the glue is dry, it will be done. Okay, we're going to put together the cover. You need 2 pieces of chipboard cut at 3.5 by 7.25. 4 pieces of chipboard cut at 7.25 by 9.25. 2 pieces of Tyvek cut at 2 inches by 7 inches. So take one of the big cover pieces, and we're going to put glue right up to the edge and over about a 1/2 inch. Put the Tyvek on over about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches from the edge of the chipboard over to the edge of the Tyvek. And now we're going to take the spine piece, and I want the spine to be 3/8 of an inch over from the cover piece. I measured 3/8 inch over, and now I'm just going to draw a line, and that's just so I know where to put glue. Three-eighths of an inch, and measure the bottom, 3/8 of an inch, to make sure it goes on straight, and that was perfect. And then I'll double check. Good. And we're going to do the same with the next piece of cover. Then after you get those worked out, go ahead and put on the other 3 pieces right over the top. And I'm using these pieces on the cover. So I'm going to take a piece of score tape, run it right along the edge of the paper, just like that. Take this off. Now we're going to just lay this piece over the top so it covers the score tape. Pressing down, and we'll flip it over. And you can see that we don't have a lot to work with on these edges, but we can still do this. So we want to make sure we're in the center, and that's a 1/2 inch. And that's a 1/2 inch. So that looks like I'm in the center. So I'm going to flip that up without moving and put glue. And then lay it back down without moving anything. Turn it over. Now I'm going to feel for where the space between the spine and the cover are, and I'm pushing my thumb down in it to get the paper to start to bend. And I have this fat pen that will fit right in there, and I'm going to use it just to score to get that paper to start to bend. Then I'm pushing with my bone folder into the spine, sharpen that line, and now I'm going to push into the cover piece till we have a dent like this. And then I'm going to put glue on the cover piece. Keeping the glue right to the edge. It looks prettier when the paper stays glued right to the edge. Making sure I keep my dent. I'm going to push my paper down. Now I'm going to take a pair of scissors, and I'm going to make sure that there's 3/8 of an inch away from this corner. I'm just going to cut this off at an angle like that, all the way around. Now I'm going to run a bead of glue. I'm going to go over the edge a little, and then run a bead of glue right along the top, skip this space, and skip this space, and go all the way to the end, and again leave a little glue hanging over. And I'm going to put glue up here, making sure I leave a channel. Pick up the book and just bend it by pressing the paper like this, getting the paper to start to bend. Take a bone folder, and I'm going to push the paper right into the chipboard. I'm going to make a nice sharp crease. Once you get it going like that, you can pull it over the top. Concentrate in the center first. Just ease these down a little. So get the center down like that. Then we can do this again quickly. We're just trying to stretch it and make a dent again on this side. I'm going to pinch at these two places, and then pushing it in like this. like that. Now I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to push in like I'm wrapping around this very thin present till I get an angle like this. Make a fold. And now I've got this lip that comes up. And I'm going to push that down against the chipboard. And do the other side. Same way. Good. Now we're going to do the same thing we did down here, up here. Okay, and so now we're going to run a bead of glue around here again. Pushing the glue inward. And because it's so narrow a space, we'll have to hold it a little till it catches. Got a little crazy with the glue. But that will be enough. We'll be able to work. We'll be able to cover the ends of this with our pages. Okay, that's good. Now for the hinges, 7 by 9 inch piece cardstock, the same cardstock you use for the pages. Turn it upside down so that the good side is underneath. And a piece of Tyvek cut 6 3/4 by 8 3/4 so that it's a 1/4 inch smaller. And now you're going to want to get some spray glue. That's what I use, spray glue. I go outside, I spray one side of the Tyvek and place it on the cardstock, smooth it out, and bring it back inside. Okay, I've got my Tyvek glued on to the paper, and now I'm going to start scoring for the hinges. I'm going to score at 1½ inches, 2 1/4 inches, 2 3/4 inches, 3 1/4 inch, 4 1/4 inch, 4 3/4 inch, 5 1/4, 6 inches, 6 1/2, and 7 inches, and 7 5/8. Now I'm going to turn it over till the tie back side is up, and I want you to skip the first score line. Go to the second score line up, take a piece of score tape and run it along the top of the second score line, not on it, just above it. Take off the backing of the tape, fold on the score line above that, and fold it over like this, press down so the tape catches, and you have your first hinge. Looks like that. Now we're going to go to the next score line above that and run the tape along the top of that score line. And fold on the score line above that. And you have your second hinge. The next score line above that, do it again. So now we have 3 hinges. And we want the cover of our book. Decide which is your front, which is your back. So the front is here. And we have our hinges, and we want the 1 inch gusset to be on this side. And this first score line that we skipped, that's where you want that to line up right here, right where this edge of the spine is. So if you line that up like that, and you mark a line over here, then you know that just helps when you're gluing it on. So now we're going to put a lot of glue right here in the on the spine area, because we want the glue to get into the fibers of the tie back and hold it on really, really well. Go all the way up to the edge. I put this here as a guide because you want to keep your glue line a 1/4 inch up from this edge here. That way when we start putting this on the glue and moving it around, the glue won't seep out from there. So I use this as a guide, and I just go up about a 1/4 of an inch and down about a 1/4 of an inch, and I go right to the edge. And fill in here. And I have an old credit card that I'll use to spread this so that every bit has glue on it. So it's coated like that, and then I wipe off card like that. And now making sure the 1-inch gusset is on this side, and we can line up with this line and look and make sure it's straight. And we can measure to make sure it's straight. And then we start pushing it down. And this is why you wanted the 1/4 inch, because you push like this and sometimes glue will seep out up there. So now we're making sure it's straight, making sure we didn't get too far away from the line there. And now I'll let it sit to dry for a bit. Okay, it's been an hour and this feels like it's really good on here. So now I'm going to take my big pen again and I'm going to push into that dent again on both sides. Like that. And I'm going to do something different. Flip it over, and you need 2 pieces of your lace. And we're going to, you want to cut it so that this will be your center. And I want these in between places to be about a 1/2 inch away from our dent area there, from the edge of the spine. It's right here. So let's take the ruler, about 5/8. Here's the edge of the spine, and the top of this piece is 5/8 inch down from there. And that's where I want to glue it on. Making sure I have that measurement even. So I'm going to hold it, pull it up, and put glue right on here like this. And do the other side the same. And we're going to let that sit for 20 minutes or so. And quick before the glue dries, cut a piece of this paper, 3 1/4 by 7 inches, and glue it on so that it goes underneath these pieces of the lace. Then you can stick some glue under here. And I cut out these pieces. Just fussy cut some flowers. And I have these cutie pie things, but I'm going to wait till we're done to stick those on. So now let's go and flip this over with our funky lace coming off the top. And I'm actually going to cut these. Here's the edge of the cover piece. So I'm going to cut right at these points. See, I just cut off this piece. And I will do that over here. And then we can push this up and put some glue. I'm going to put it right where I cut. It will kind of seal the edges so it won't fray. Use a weight to keep it there while you can do this side. So there's a cot down, so let's put this down. I have a line drawn where the glue will go, so I'll just put close to the edge. About a 1/4 inch down. Till the glue catches. And then you can do the other side. So that looks good. Next we'll be putting in the hinges and the pages on the hinges. Okay, we're going to start putting in the pages. This is what our cover looks like now. And I'm going to take all of the hinges and fold them down like this. And we're going to start with page 1. And I'm going to take the glue and run a bead of glue along this side of the hinge. And then I'm going to lay page 1 against that hinge. I want it to be about 1/8 of an inch away from the bottom of the hinge. And then I have to hold it for a minute or so. Clean up my glue. While the glue sets up, I'm going to hold it. And then I'm going to go to the next page. Put on page 3. And I'm going to go back. And put page 2 on. Page 2. Matching it up with page 1. And here's where I start using my handy clamps. And keep going, just keep putting the rest of the pages on the same way. Page 4. And page 6. And the inside back cover. And while we're waiting for that to dry, let's do the inside front cover. So that looks great. I just have to repair another star came off up here. Not the best design, I guess. It was a fun idea, but, well, anyway. So now we have white cardstock that is 1/4 inch bigger than it. So it kind of goes in a wavy motion. Let's put it on like that. And I'm going to use some hot glue to make this one stick, because it will catch quickly. So that there'll actually be something, not just loose petals. And I'm going to just put the hot glue on the back of this area. And I'm not pushing it right down, I'm just pushing it a little, waiting for the glue to cool. I'm going to put hot glue. That looks great. What a cute baby album cover, if I do say so myself. So the only thing left to do is to put on our two cute little diaper pins. Glue, glue, glue. Very cute. So I'm gonna, these are still kind of wet, so I'm not gonna mess around with them too much. Oh, I thought of one more thing. Put on the back this cutout. Voila. Now it's done. But that's the end of the tutorial. We've made a great, gorgeous, beautiful baby album. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you made yourself a gorgeous baby album. And I thank you so much for watching.